Well, howdy there, everyone. Welcome to Panzer Corps. And, well, also, welcome to Order of Battle World War II. What? What's going on here? Yes, as a matter of fact, I do have both of these games running on my computer simultaneously here. Both of them are on a different screen here because I want to talk to you guys about these fine games here. So, specifically, I'm looking for people that maybe had played Panzer Corps when it first came out back in 2011, which makes that game about 5, 6 years old already. And maybe you played it when it first came out, you weren't that enthused about it, or maybe it didn't really sit well with you, or maybe you were wishing for more, or I don't know, whatever. And maybe some of you are like me out there when Order of Battle World War II first was released and thought, well, I don't know if I really interested in getting Order of Battle World War II because it's just another Panzer Corps, and maybe I didn't enjoy Panzer Corps that much to begin with, or whatever. So I'm going to spend a few minutes, about the next 20 minutes or so, talking to you guys about these games and just kind of going over a few things and giving you guys my thoughts and opinions on these games. So, first of all, Panzer Corps obviously was released back around 2011, I believe. And since then, they've received many, many updates, new scenarios and campaigns, all kinds of great things. Order of Battle, I believe, came out in 2015. And since then, it's gone through some changes as well. Originally, it was released as a standalone product, and the publishers decided to change the format and make it more of an open project, if that's the right term, I guess, where you can get the base game for free and then you're going to just buy the expansion modules, which will add new campaigns to it. I think that's a really great model. The games are very similar in size and scope and complexity, which makes them very similar, but I think they also play and handle things quite differently. So, before I get into too much details, and I'm not going to get into too many just basic references about the two games. Of course, I am a war gamer at heart. I enjoyed both of these games, but for me, Panzer Corps is it just, I felt like it needed more something, not more scenarios or more units or anything. It has a ton of that stuff. I just felt like I needed more information or more variety in the kind of scenarios, or, it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. And during this comparison, I am going to compare both of these games together. Um, and it's going to make it seem like Panzer Corps is not a good game. So let me say right up front, Panzer Corps is an exceptionally good, wonderful war game. There's nothing wrong with Panzer Corps whatsoever. If anybody asks me, I would highly, highly recommend they pick this game up. But for me personally, I just felt like it was. I tried playing it and I played several scenarios, and then it just makes me feel like I need more to it, or I need something else uh, to the added to the system, or it's a great game, but it just felt to me like I could need some more to the actual uh, game. And while they actually added tons and tons of stuff to the game, as you can see here, I actually have the gold edition, which has all the expansions. You can see there is tutorial campaigns, there is the Vermont campaign, there is the Panzer Corps, there is the Allied Corps campaign, there's the Soviet campaign, and then of course you have all of the different years of war for the East Front, the West Front, and in fact, if you just click on a little folder here, you can see all of the wonderful campaigns and scenarios that you can play through this. tons and tons of stuff, and that's one of its strengths. Is it has a lot of stuff with it. It's just amazing how much how many hundreds of hours of scenarios they have. It's a great value for the money that you would spend on this game. Um, and it has, of course, multiplayer, and of course, all of that component built into it. Of course, great single player scenarios. I'm just going to actually just load up a game here of Panzer Corps here. Now, of course, being in the older of the games, for me, it just seems like, when this, you know, before Order of Battle even came out, it seemed to me like, for me, it was just hard. I just didn't get enough information about things. Now, again, this is just my own personal opinion, but you can see, I mean, great scenarios, great looking units, uh, you know, very good high quality maps, the ability to zoom in or out, um, made it a very good war gamer for somebody that wanted to pick up a scenario, tactically play out some battle scenarios, carrying units over from one end to the other. And it does give you a lot of the information. If I click on a unit here, well, let's see, I can click on this guy here. Over here on the edge, it gives me the detailed information about the units, its strength, its fuel, its ammunition, its entrenchment level. Let's see if we can zoom down over here maybe. It gives me detailed information about where I can go, what units I'm going to be able to attack. If I move into a different location, um, what can I expect from that location? So very, very good um, uh, quality of the game put in, the design, everything very nice. And now we'll just compare that with Order of Battle World War II, which we'll do over here on this screen now. So again, this is the newer edition. Came out, I believe it's Order of Battle started coming out in 2015. And again, it has quite a variety of scenarios it's started to develop now. So it's got, of course, the boot camp scenario. We have the Winter War. We have two different grand Chinese campaigns. One, the Morning Sun, one, the Rising Sun, the U.S. Pacific, the U.S. Marines. Of course, they have just released the Blitzkrieg scenario pack as well, which I don't currently own, but hopefully soon. So you can see quite a variety of scenarios as well with this. Certainly not as many scenarios or campaigns as currently in Panzer Corps, but they are, being the newer the games, obviously it hasn't had as much time to expand and grow as Panzer Corps. Of course, it comes with multiplayer, just like uh, Panzer Corps. It does come with an editor as well, and what I'm hoping to do here is actually just load up a save game. Oh, let's choose this save. That's fine, and we'll go ahead and let that load up and take a look at the graphics on this as well. Being the newer game, of course, it should have more of an updated. Just get rid of that. Hopefully the sound won't be too loud. Actually, let's turn the sound volume down just slightly there. There we go. Hopefully that won't be too loud now. There we go. So again, if you're comparing them side by side, it's actually a little bit, oops, let me switch back over to this one. There we go. My mouse wants to have issues going between the two games. I find that Order of Battle, for me, I'm able to zoom out a little bit farther and also a little bit closer as well, which I do really, really like. It seems like, for me, Order of Battle has, say, 3 levels of zoom. There's the close zoom, there's the middle zoom, and then there's the outer zoom. But I'm just using my scroll mouse. You can see quite a big difference in how much detail and area you can see. And of course, again, once I zoom in, you can see great detail in the map, great detail in the units, the color. Everything's color coded with different units, which makes it a very enjoyable experience, pleasure for the eye to look at and play. So if we come back over to Panzer Core here now, again, for me, and I'm not sure exactly if they're using the exact same system or if it's very similar. I think there are some new mechanics, which we'll talk about, but it's all based upon the strength factor of 10 system. So a unit here, like this guy here, it's got 10 strength factors. Of course, we can pull up his detailed information, um, on his fuel, ammo, experience, and there's all of his statistics on movement and spotting distance and range and naval attack, air attack, hard attack, soft attack, ground defense, air defense, um, close defense, and target type. So this is, I guess, one of the issues. It's not really an issue. It's one of the things that for me was kind of hard. Is obviously it's kind of a rock paper scissors type of game. Certain units are going to be good going against hard targets. Some are going to be good against soft targets. Some are going to be good at both of them. Some of them are going to be good at air units, but not ground units. So having to look at the detailed list and try to remember, oh, now is this attack or is this defense or anything like that? For me, it just took me a long time. Now, if you play lots of scenarios and you recognize the units, you'll know, pretty quickly when you look at this menu. Oh, it's got a 14 attack against hard targets and a, air defense of 12 and a defense against ground defense of 16. So you can quickly see all that stuff once you play a few scenarios to get used to the units. Um, I wasn't obviously playing Panzer Corps on a regular basis, so for me, I'd have to go back and check that information all the time and have to try to know which ones are. Let's see, this is their attack and stuff. Uh, we look at order of battle, obviously. Come on over here, thank you. What you know, it's just, I guess for me, it's the little things that count. And I appreciate the little things. So, like when I click on a unit here, it's a little bit easier for me to look at the detailed information down here at the bottom. Uh, and it's also color coded, which makes it a lot easier for me. So, obviously, attack is all in red, defense is all in green, which makes it, like I said, a little bit easier for me to quickly look this over and go, oh, okay, he's got 12 attack and 10 defense. And I don't have to really try to use the menu system to try and find it out. Again, this is nothing against Panzer Corps. Obviously, Panzer Corps is a few years older, so it's going to be a little bit rough around the edges. They've had more time to develop this game. Um, yeah, I believe they're actually different companies, or game developers, I guess. They are being both published by Matrix Games and Slytherin, but I believe the designer or the developer of the games are actually different companies. Um, so I mean, I think the interface for me is a little bit easier uh, to look at and figure things out, and being color coded obviously helps me out a little bit because I can easily and quickly see things. So I was able to get into order of battle really, really quickly, and being familiar with Panzer Corps and war games in general and strategies and all that, I was able to pretty much figure everything out. I did play the tutorial scenarios, so that obviously helped as well. So if we go back over here to Panzer Corps, one of the things, and I guess this is my kind of my biggest, uh, I guess, disappointment with Panzer Corps was the fact that, units could be out of supply and taking, not being at full capabilities because they're out of supply, and all that. So it's like not as detailed information on here. And a lot of times I tried to figure out what the heck was going on. Why is this guy in full fighting capacity? And let's see if I can find somebody that is, not fighting in full capacity. Like this guy, he's in yellow 9. So, why is he in the yellow 9? Is he out of supply? Is he not, does he not have supply sources? Is this a supply source? Is this not a supply source? So it was a little bit more not confusing, I guess. Just trying to figure out what was going on for me with the supply and the stuff that was going on inside the game, so that I know. Oh, hey, if I come around this way and this guy's going to be fighting at reduced capabilities because he's he's not going to have supply, or he's going to be just not able to do what he wants to do. Uh, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised in Order of Battle that you can actually see terrain, um, and who actually owns the terrain, and whether or not units are going to be in supply or not supply. And you can see here I am playing the American and the Philippines recruits. Yeah, so at a mission here. And you can see, because I moved this unit here, I was able to cut their supply lines together from one another. So I was able to do that, and I can see, oh, these units are going to have a rougher time now because they don't have access to supply. Or, when the enemy did the same thing, this is a different save, but I did the same thing to another enemy up here. He ended up taking the town and kicked my unit out, so I just used my unit to come around and cut off his supply. So if he wants to take the town over, sure, go ahead, take the town over, but I'm going to knock you out of supply. So for me, that did a couple things. Number one, it quickly and easily made the game more of a tactical decisions on what's going on in the battlefield for me. I can see what's going on represented quickly by these, outlines of held territories, and I can now go, oh, okay, I'm going to make more, instead of having this guy stand over here and just fight this guy back and forth, which I ended up doing in Panzer Corps. For me, it's like, oh, I can come up here and cut off your supply now. Now the enemy can move units down here and end up cutting me off a supply, which makes it a much more tactical battle simulation for me, because there seems to be a lot more going on, and it's easier for me and quicker for me to understand what's going on in the battlefield by seeing these supply lines and held territories and such. Uh, and I know that if I can get an enemy out of supply, then I'm going to be able to do extra damage to it. It's not going to be able to move as much, and for me, it makes it a much more fluid game, other than what ends up happening like over here in Panzer Corps, where you just get these units that kind of just line up one against one another, and you just beat on each other until somebody runs out of strength points, and then they end up getting killed. Now, of course, there are, moving around and trying to, all that, but trying to figure out what units are in supply, it's it's, for me, it's just not as easy and as fluent for me in this kind of game. It's just, for Panzer Corps. And I guess it's why in the beginning I said that, I enjoyed Panzer Corps, and I really, 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 really wanted to love it because it's just, it's a war game, it's a tactical, it's got all these super cool units, it's got a great looking map, it has hundreds and hundreds of scenarios and campaigns and all kinds of stuff. And I really, really wanted to keep playing it and playing it, but I found it to be just not as tactically sound as I was hoping for. Or, we'd get these units just lined up against one another and just mash it out. And maybe it was just my own fault for not understanding all the ins and outs of Panzer Corps and not playing it enough. But I couldn't figure out the best way to uh, damage enemy units and just cut him out of supply and keep him from fighting at 100% efficiency. And obviously, when we compare that with order battle, it's just for me, it's like night and day. I mean, I can just um, I can pick up this game, which I did, and just start playing it, and started playing the first couple scenarios, and man, it just, even though you might have the exact same units on here, it seems like it plays different because there's more fluid motion going on. It's not just this unit and this unit are going to battle it out until one of them dies. It's like, well, I'm going to bring this guy around and try to take over this point, which will cut off his supplies, and then we'll have the advantage against the enemy. Or how do I prevent the enemy from coming in and taking over my supplies? Of course, there's more differences between the games. Obviously, they both have campaigns where you're going to take your units from one campaign to the next, mission from mission to mission, and you're going to purchase units, which obviously is ultra important. Purchasing units, and I mean, look at all the goodies you get to play with in this game. It's just so awesome. I mean, again, this is nothing against Panzer Corps. Panzer Corps is a great game. It has a lot going for it. There's absolutely nothing wrong for it. Again, this video is probably just for people out there like myself that looked at Order of Battle and said, oh, it's just going to be another Panzer Corps, and I don't want to spend my money on just another Panzer Corps. I tried Panzer Corps. I played it. I tried playing it again. I tried playing it again, and it doesn't do something. It just doesn't scratch an itch for me. I need more to it. I need something else. I need it to be a little more easy. I need it to be a little more flexible. I need it to be a little bit more than it is. I mean, these are just some of the units that we have. You can see there's just so many cool things. There's all kinds of different stats, and um, you can really delve into this game and enjoy it and spend, like I said, lots and lots of time on it. Just for me, it just seemed like it was, a little bit more work or effort than, there just seems like there was something missing, and I think it all comes down to, for me, it all comes down to that supply layer that shows up on Order of Battle. It just, uh, maybe that was the one thing that Panzer Corps was missing, that I was like, I need to have more to make it more of a fluid battle. I'm not just moving guys over just to fight. I'm moving guys over for reasons to try and cut off. I got one enemy out of supply there. I've got a couple enemies out of supply here. Instead of just making a defensive line of guys, I kept some guys over here, brought them up, and cut them off. Instead of just putting all my guys around my town to try and hold the forces off. For me, it's like, okay, I can actually do something other than just sitting here and attacking back and forth. And for me, it was that whole supply layer of cutting enemies off and making it more of a flanking, and not just standing there going toe to toe with the enemy. And of course, you're not supposed to just sit there and go toe to toe with the enemy. If we look at Panzer Corps here, let's go ahead and Let's go ahead and end our turn here. Sure. All right, so that was the computer, and obviously they were taking their turn. And I noticed a couple things during that turn. Let's see if I can find the units that actually. Um, let's see. And I probably won't be able to find them, but let's zoom down here. Maybe they were down here. Yeah, so I mean, this guy went to yellow. So again, it's like, why is he in yellow all of a sudden? Does that just represent the fact that he's running out of supply? Um, his suppression is 4. Um, he has plenty of armor and he's got, I'm sorry, plenty of ammo and plenty of fuel. So it must be like a suppression level somehow that makes him yellow. So it's for me, it's just like trying to figure out why certain colors are on the screen. Why is it going? Why is it doing that? And to be honest, I guess probably my biggest gripe, other than the fact that that's just a lot of the detail isn't on the screen. And I mean, if you play a bunch of scenarios, you're going to know all the information about the different units. And granted, I didn't play a ton of scenarios to get, to memorize. Okay, well, this Panther, is going to have these kind of stats and blah, 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 blah. My biggest gripe I have is, just in this scenario alone, I've had several of these attacks where you can see I'm not going to take any damage and the enemy's going to end up taking 4 points of damage. And I know, and if you're familiar with this system at all, you know that those numbers are not set in stone whatsoever. And those are just randomly determined by, the mechanic behind the scenes that's going on. And you know that going in. But for me, Panzer Corps, for some reason, does like the craziest results all the time. And so for me, it just takes some of the tactical edge off of the system because, I'm expecting, okay, I won't take any losses and the computer will take 4 losses. And what it'll end up happening is I'll take like 3 losses and the computer will take 1. And I'm like, what? Now, I expect some variations in there. I mean, I've even had an attack where it was like, I'm going to take a step loss, and the computer's going to take 7 step losses. And it ended up being I took 5 step losses, and the computer didn't take any. Now, of course, dice rolls and everything going on in the background. I mean, that makes it just the actual um, slip there. All right. So, I mean, in that case, it was a -4, and that's it was supposed to be a -5. So, I mean, or it was a -4. I'm sorry. It was supposed to be a -4, and it ended up being -5. So, I mean, that's pretty reasonable. There's a 1-1. If we bring this guy around, we get a 2 and 0. All right, good. We can kill this thing. And let's see. Let's bring this guy around. I'm just trying to see if I can get another one of these crazy results here without getting myself totally killed. So -1 is good. And of course, it won't probably do it, so. So there was supposed to be a -6 and 0. Oh, there it went. Okay, all right. Because originally it was like a -1, so it must have been a -1 for the support attack as well. So yeah, I mean I found that to be a little aggravating and very frustrating actually, because you will get some of your units like severely wounded and damaged when you don't need them to be. I find that to order a battle, just for myself, I have not seen any, I've had them go where, if I'm going to attack, there's going to be let's end the turn here, and you guys can see just let them take their turn here. This is actually AI, they're I think the plane that was inside the airport. So there you go with that. Artillery alert. There we go. Alright, so let's go cut all those guys off. Come up here. This is what I was talking about. Now instead of coming after this guy and just fighting him, I've got purposes, I've got reasons for moving my guys around. Instead of just coming over here to do 2 points of damage to him. Is it more important for me to get this guy cut off a supply? What is this? Let's bring this over here. Get that out of the way for me, please. Let's see. What should we do with this? Let's just bring him over here so you can see some tank action here. Beautiful animations. You can see, I mean, again, I've now got a flanking attack, a bonus, because I've got 2 units attacking this one guy from multiple directions. So you can see that when I mouse over it, this guy here is obviously giving me a bonus, and I can easily see that. So let's see. Let's bring him up here. So it's supposed to be a -1 and ended up being a -2. I mean, that's more what I expect to see. I don't, expect to see like 3 or 4 or 5 point swings one way or the other. These guys are still out of supplies, but that's not a very good attack for us. This guy here, he needs to be back here. Bring up our infantry unit here. Let's take out this guy here. Alright, now I'm not going to move up there. Let's just move them. Move this guy there. That's fine. That guy already moved. There we go. That guy's already moved. Yeah, for me, it just seems to be a little bit smoother, more fluid game. I'm not checking stats all the time. I'm not trying to see, well, what is this? Is this guy any good against infantry? Is he good against, it's right there in front of me. Easier for me to see. I'm not constantly trying to micromanage like I felt like I was doing in Panzer Corps. Obviously, interface makes a big part of the game. Obviously, when you're playing a game, you have the game you're playing, you have the interface to work with, you have all of the mechanics that are involved in the game you're playing, and there's a lot that goes into it. Nothing against Panzer Corps. I mean, obviously there is many, many people that really enjoy this game. So again, for me, for Panzer Corps, when you can see the difference here when we did our order of battle, I don't know what kind of results I'm going to get against this guy if I move up here. Is it a good move or is it a bad move? Nobody knows until you move him up here. And then I can finally decide if this is can I do a good attack? Can I not do a good attack? Let's see if we can look at some units over here on. Let's see if I move this guy here. Oh, there we go. Now I'm getting my results. Okay. So, but it doesn't show me, am I getting this bonus here because of multiple units flanking him? Is it just because of his strength compared to the strength of this unit? Is it because this guy is out of supply? I mean, you can look at all the little numbers over here when I mouse, but that involves having to. So it's a -4 and a -2, and I believe it was supposed to be. Uh, hmm, hmm, hmm. So is this guy entrenched? Is that what the deal is with this guy? He's got an entrenchment of 8. So obviously that's giving him a big bonus, which some graphics there to show me where my target landed would be nice. For me, it just seems like I can't figure out the best maneuvers for this game. I guess that's my frustration with it, based upon just seeing the numbers. Flash on the screen. I have to understand why. Why am I a -3 and he's a -2? Okay, I can see there's trenches there. Is that because he's in the trench? Our strength values are the same. If I move here, I don't get any other bonuses. What kind of terrain is he in? I mean, there's a lot going on to it in Panzer Corps. And obviously the same is going on in order of battle. A lot of it is going on in order of battle. But for me, it's just so much easier to understand what's going on because the numbers are there. The interface seems to work. And of course, the supply layer seems to work. I enjoy the new specialization, which allows you to play these scenarios over and over and over again because you can choose different specializations with your points that you earn throughout your missions, and hopefully you can use those. Maybe one time you take tank specializations and you get more tanks, and other times you might get um, more aircraft or more infantry or whatever. So I think it makes it a much more interesting game because you can try different strategies and stuff as opposed to Panzer Corps. So for me, I guess what I'm saying to sum up, Panzer Corps, nothing wrong with it. It's a really good game. I would highly recommend it to anybody, and there's nothing wrong with it. For me though, it just seems like they took what was good about Panzer Corps and they said, what can we add to this to make it better? What can we do to just enhance this and give it more flavor, more substance, more anything? Uh, and then they did all the changes and they released Order of Battle. So this video is just for people out there that are interested in both of these systems, just to kind of look and compare and see. But it's mostly for maybe people that had played Panzer Corps in the past and weren't thrilled with it and just thought Order of Battle was just a copy with just different units and a different scenarios. But it's not. For me, it's a completely different game. I didn't play a lot of Panzer Corps because of all the issues that I had with it. There's been probably 3 or 4 times in the last 5 years that I've loaded up and tried a couple scenarios and then go, wow, I don't understand. I don't know. There's just something missing. And when I didn't get Order of Battle, because I thought, like many of you might out there right now, that Order of Battle is probably just the same thing with different units, and I'm not interested in that. And I am very, very, very happily surprised at just how different it is. The feel, the variety in scenarios, um, just it engrosses me so much more, so easily. The interface is so well done. And again, this is nothing against Panzer Corps. I'm just talking about the things that Order of Battle really made me stand out from and really made me say, wait a second, I'm going to have to take another look at this game because this is not what I was expecting. So very pleasantly surprised. And hopefully if you weren't happy with Panzer Corps, didn't enjoy it as much, hopefully maybe you'll take a look at Order of Battle and see if maybe this is a war game that maybe might do something for you that it did for me. So thanks so much everyone for watching. Hopefully, hopefully some of this made sense to you guys out there. And hopefully, again, I'm not trying to put Panzer Corps down. It's nothing against Panzer Corps. I've said it a couple times during this video, and I'll say it one more time, because I'm sure somebody will make a comment that, why don't I like Panzer Corps? It's not that I don't like Panzer Corps. It's that I didn't feel Panzer Corps was as complete as I needed. There was missing something. And for me, Order of Battle really fixes all those problems and issues that I originally had with Panzer Corps. So hopefully, take another look at Order of Battle. You can download the free game. It lets you play through, I believe, all the tutorial scenarios. And you can also play through the first mission with all of the different campaigns, I believe is what you can get with the free download. And then, of course, now is a great time to go to Matrix Games and Slytherin. They have their holiday sale going on right now. You can pick up different Order of Battle campaigns for 25, 35% off, something like that. So a great deal for the amount of time and effort and enjoyment you'll get out of it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. Leave your thoughts and comments below as always, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.